I know the summertime is super tricky for team calls, especially because this girl can't get her ish together with scheduling calls in the morning and then changing them to the nighttime. So we will record this call. Make sure that not only you pay attention, you take notes, and you absorb the awesomeness that is my special guest speaker, Miranda Thornsbury, who's going to be dropping some knowledge on you guys today. She's a fairly new coach, and that's why I love having new coaches speak to the team to inspire you into action. But I have some announcements to make. So before we get to our special guest speaker, let's cover the announcements quickly. I know you guys are busy this summer with the kids and travel and all of that, but remember that our business does not take a break, because it is that momentum that you need each and every day, that consistency in your business each and every day that gets you in that groove to make moves, to make that stride towards your, not only your income goals, but whatever goals that you've set out for yourself. That's in life, guys. It's not only in the business, right? You need to have that cadence of activity each and every single day. So let's start with some announcements, and then I'm going to turn it over quickly. Number one is, Summit is only about 2 weeks away. Not even, I don't even know. Yeah, 2 weeks, almost exactly 2 weeks away. I'm really, really, really excited for this summit. It's our first time in New Orleans. It's going to be my first time in New Orleans. So I don't know about you guys, but if you're brand new to the team, Summit is our annual convention. It's a big deal. It's something that every coach that's serious about building this business should strive to attend. It's an investment for sure, but the return on your investment is tenfold, right? You grow as a person, you grow as a coach, you grow as a team member, you grow as a leader. So that's happening in 2 weeks. Whether you are going or not, I want you to live, eat, sleep, and breathe Summit during that time, because even if you're sitting at home or at work watching all the excitement that's going on in New Orleans while the coaches are there, remember there's a lot of exciting announcements happening that you can transfer the information not only to your social media, but to your coaches and to your team. So stay in tune with all that is going on at Summit. Guys, new products, new fitness programs, new things, like just obviously international expansion is on the very near horizon. So it's a very exciting time in our business, and we're gonna be learning a whole lot in the next 2 weeks. If you are going to Summit, this is the time where you have to buckle down in your business, because our Diesel Nation luncheon, we are capping it at 300. Right now, we have about, I want to say about 160 registered qualified coaches with their guests already registered, and the remaining tickets are going to highest Success Club earners. Okay, so first of all, you have to hit Success Club, and then we're going to be releasing tickets in terms of the number of Success Club points that you have this month. So it's June 26th. That means that you guys who are sitting at SC4, SC2, it's a decision, right? It is an absolute decision to hit Success Club. It's all in the mindset of hitting Success Club. It is all in the decision to hit Success Club. So get on your follow-ups, get into, what's your strategy for the shift shop? Perhaps you want to implement that right now. And of course, be inviting to our coaching sneak peek that is happening Wednesday night at 8:30. Okay, that's a big deal. I want everybody participating in that sneak peek. The last two have gone phenomenally well. Last month with Fearless Recruiting, which by the way, there's plans on expanding that group post summit. I'm very excited about that. But that we're gonna take that energy that we had last month, we're gonna translate it all over again. But it's up to you as a business owner to keep that going, that feeling that you had in the month of May, which was like high energy, to translate it to June and end the month strong. Is everybody committed to end the month of June strong? Right? Yeah, let's do it. So lock in Success Club so that whether, if you're going to Summit, that you are at our luncheon. You guys, our luncheon traditionally, and it's a really cool story with the luncheon. It started with 10 of us, and it's grown and grown and grown. Last year, We had 400 because space allowed for 400. This year space allows for 300, so we got to cap it. But it's traditionally been like the highlight of Summit because it's the only time when we're all together and we get to talk and experience each other live and in person, which is not necessarily how it normally is because we're all so spread out. So please, if you're going to Summit, push your business. Go to Summit with momentum by having hit Success Club in the month of June. I know that you can do it. That's why you're on this call, because you do believe in yourself. Then lastly, again, I'm going to reiterate that on Wednesday, we have our coach sneak peek. For you guys that are brand new coaches and are kind of still getting your feet wet with this whole system, every single month we host what I call a business opportunity presentation. So what your job is to do right now is to talk to people. Say, hey, my team's hosting this business opportunity presentation on Wednesday. May I add you to the group? Don't add people without asking their permission. That's a big, big, big no-no. Have that context in the conversation, right? Message them. If they're a customer of yours, message them. If it's someone you want on your team, remember, hashtag suck it up buttercup, and go out there and ask them if they would listen to the business presentation that's happening on Wednesday. We have an amazing lineup. Again, we've teamed up with Liz Hartley's team. We have some brand new coaches that are killing it in their business, and we're going to have some more experienced coaches share. It's going to be a great event, you guys. One of the things that is so powerful of our kind of business, this network marketing business, is duplication, right? You need duplication. So what we try to do as a team is help you duplicate, right? But you have to take action on that duplication, right? We give you the scripts so that you can learn how to kind of craft messages. We share our strategies so that you can then craft your strategy. And of course, we do these business presentations so that we can do the talking for you, right? So that this is what we call a third-party tool. It's like sharing a video about the 21-day fix or the all-access challenge pack. Less is more, right? Sometimes as a new coach, you want to vomit information on people and it scares them away. The point is, less is more. Let us do the talking. It's going to be a great night. So please, right now, commit to inviting at least 5 people to the business presentation. That is how you get momentum in growing your own organization. So now I'm going to stop talking because you guys know I like to chit chat a whole lot. But I want to turn it over to our special guest speaker. Hold on one second. One thing I do love is a live chat, you guys. Miranda, you might get a little distracted by the live chat, but I think it's great that we talk and we converse and we ask questions in the chat so that after, if you guys have questions for Miranda, being that she is a newer coach and you want to get kind of more insight on a certain topic, post your question in the chat. I'll go back and I'll weed through the comments and I'll make sure that at the end of the call that we get those questions answered if we can, whether it's I'll answer them or Miranda answer them. But let me do a quick introduction. In December, when we were hosting our health bet, do you guys remember the health bet that was going to happen in January? All right, so I was like gung-ho about the health bet, and I was posting on Instagram, I was posting on Facebook about the health bet challenge group, and this blonde firecracker sends me an email and says, I want into that challenge group, to the health bet challenge group. And she proceeds to tell me a little bit about her story. I ended up learning more about her story, and I'm not going to share that with you. I want her to do that. But she said in that message, oh, and by the way, I've lost 100 pounds already, but I want to lose this last 20 to 30 that keep creeping back in. And I'm saying to myself, what? You've lost how much? And so it really caught my attention. She watched a business opportunity presentation, if I'm not mistaken. She can correct me on that. She came on board. She became a success starter. She just went diamond on Thursday. And I might prod her on this, but it was just before the Fearless Recruiting Group started that I messaged her and I said, what's the deal? Why aren't you sponsoring coaches? And she said, it's because I'm afraid. And she used that word fear, that I'm going to do something wrong, or that's going to, I think she might mention she was part of another opportunity before Beachbody, and she didn't want it to feel that way. And we kind of chit-chatted, and that's kind of where fearless recruiting came from, where we were going to get rid of that fear-based mindset when it came to recruiting coaches into the business. And I swear to you guys, it was just that flip of the switch that she dropped that term from her mindset, and she's just been incredibly on fire for the last month and a half, hitting high Success Club numbers, sponsoring coaches into the business, and of course advancing 2 emeralds. And I'm sure there's many more coming in the pipeline. I love her. She has a really funny sense of humor. Her story is so powerful. Please pay attention. Please take notes. And without further ado, I want to turn it over to my friend and teammate and business partner, Miranda Thornsbury.
Well, with that grand introduction, I can just be done. No. So, and the thing is too, is that I do want to say that I did watch a business opportunity, a recording actually, but I had also been watching Christina and Becky for a few years. So before I get started in anything else, I want you guys to kind of put that in there, that we get so impatient sometimes. But the thing is people are always watching. So my story begins really as far back as I can remember, because I was always the fat girl. And I kind of hate to say that because it comes with so much negativity around it. But that's who I was. That was my life. And along with that, I came from an abusive household. And so when I left that abusive household, I found more abusive relationships. And so with that, weight compounded. I also turned to partying. I turned to drugs. So my life was just a hot mess. If there's a definition for hot mess, my picture's in there several times, I promise. But so one part of the story I'm going to tell tonight that I've never really shared with too many people is that I was a single mom living in government housing, over 100 pounds overweight because my second child really packed the pounds on me. And it's not like it was her fault, but I embraced that pregnancy and did whatever I wanted to do. And I actually had gestational diabetes. That was how serious my weight problem was. Just because I was miserable. But after I had my second child, not long after that, she was diagnosed autistic. That was hard. It's something you have to adjust to, which further packed on the pounds. I was also a 2-pack-a-day smoker. You didn't mess with my cigarettes at all. I had smoked since I've been 13. And so that was a part of me too. So the hot mess continues, right? Anything I could have done, I did it. And I did it because I thought I loved it. But really it was an escape mechanism. And I know that my weight was trying to protect me, but I still kept finding things. So part of the story, that the moment where I knew that a change had to happen was the day that I got arrested. My then boyfriend, second baby daddy, was in the house and they were coming for him. And I was afraid. And so the first thing I did was lie. So I got arrested for obstruction of justice. Those charges were later dropped because I did all the right things. But when I got home that day, my dad came and bailed me out of jail. My babies were with my mom. Thank goodness that they were not a part of that. One was barely 2, and the other one was 4. And so I knew that day that my life had to change. I'm sitting in government housing, not really with a steady job, out of a terrible relationship, over 100 pounds overweight. So that's when I just started little by little. And actually Beachbody came into my life then. I ordered yoga booty ballet. I'm a lot of things, but yoga booty ballet is not who I am. But for whatever reason, something about that had caught my attention. So I kind of did it for a little bit and then I stopped. but my weight loss continued. I started out kind of with Weight Watchers, just trying to figure things out. So that's when I decided to pack up where I was, and I headed back home to where I was from, which is Alabama. If you can't hear that in my voice, it'll show through every now and then. It comes untucked. Sometimes y'all slips out in some other words that my Ohio-based husband has to make me spell and then define. If we ever get to that moment, just ask me. So I moved home. I got a really good job, but I still wasn't being a really good parent. Having an autistic child creates so many things. You love them so hard, but it's just moments of rock bottom desperation. And I just wanted to stop. I wanted to stop being a parent because I didn't know what I was doing. And actually, my mom decided she could do it better than I could. And for a little while, she had my babies. So on my way home from work one day, at that point, let me just say I had already lost down from a size 22 down to a 12, 14. Just doing what I could, but I was still smoking, still kind of not doing all the right things. But so I was leaving work from an 11-hour shift assembling air conditioning coils. Not a fun job. Somebody pulled out in front of me, and I did not have my seatbelt on, and I smacked the steering wheel before the airbag could deploy. And when that happened, without a scratch or a bruise, it ruptured. Basically, it tore one side of my heart, like ripped it and tore a hole out of the other side and collapsed both my lungs. I knew that I wasn't going to make it. It's a scary feeling. I was actually on my way to see my babies. And so all I could do was beg for the phone call to get to my mom, which couldn't happen until they got me stable. So I was med-flighted. And I was in the emergency room when I told the nurse that I was tired. I was sleepy. And the nurse told me, she said, "Baby, if you close your eyes, you're gone." And so that's one of those moments where, I kind of reached out and I just, in my brain spoke to Jesus a little bit and just said I was sorry. And so you have that little bit of time that all these mistakes that you've made. And I just wanted to talk to my mom. And I didn't get that chance because I actually heard myself flatline. And the nurse screamed, "Oh shit," sorry for the language, and she smacked the button on the wall. I heard the flatline, and that was all I remembered. They called the family in 3 times. They got me an emergency surgery, sewed up my heart the best they could. I actually have half a heart. I like to say it for shits and giggles sometimes, but it's true. I went through 3 complete rounds of blood, and my lungs continued to fail on me where I had been such a big smoker. So they called the family in, told the family she's not going to make it. It's just a matter of time. We done what we could. So even at that point, my babies were so little. They were turning 5 and 3 that year. So they couldn't come see me because I was in the ICU and they're not allowed back there. So for them, their world kind of stopped just the same as mine did. Cammie was already autistic, and that caused her to completely lose all of her language skills. She completely stopped talking. But so because I'm so stubborn, and because the rest of the story will tie into this one, I just refuse to give up. I have been through so much. I have always just persevered. I don't know why. I just have. And so even in that situation, they put me in a medically induced coma, and 6 weeks later, I came out of my coma. They never intended on me to make it. And so it took me a while to get my bearings about me. I had to learn how to eat, walk, read, write. I had to learn all that over again. And I also went from a person that was 150 pounds to somebody that was 95 pounds, because for 6 weeks of that, I had a feeding tube. So I was tiny. It was scary. It was horrible, the whole shebang. But coming out of that, One thing that led me to fitness was that they told me I absolutely could not go back to my old ways. Smoking was out of the question. They said it would kill me within 3 to 5 years. They also said I had to be serious about my heart and I had to be serious about my health. But on the other end of that, you guys, were 2 kids sitting somewhere, not even knowing where their mama is. And so for me, that part of my why is a strong, strong why. If I explain that to you guys, I don't have to give you my true why of why working a business like Beachbody would bring me home and let me be the parent that I want to be, the parent that they deserve to have. So that's where my health journey began. And then that's where Beachbody comes back into my story, is because I ordered Turbo Jam because they told me cardio is what you need. So I found cardio in Shalene Johnson. But in any of that, I was never introduced to Shakeology, nor did I have a coach. So Beachbody in that sense stayed in my life. I'd done Turbo Jam. That was 2006 when that happened. Turbo Jam stayed a part of me for a while. So if we kind of fast forward, to add to my story, to let you guys know that I just refused to settle, is that I found a husband. I got married. I thought that was it. I was here. I've got my babies. I had to build myself back up. So losing weight is one thing, but then building your body back up from 95 pounds is a totally different thing. It's a different kind of mindset. I had to fight. I got pneumonia super easy. So it was just a fight, but I refused to settle. But then about 4 years into that marriage, we kind of had a come to Jesus meeting at a certain point that it wasn't serving either one of us anymore. And so I left. And so, here I am again, single mother. I found a corporate job that pays really well. But that corporate job is not my purpose. I feel like I was left here for a reason, and it is not to manage somebody else's calendar and tell him where to go every hour of the day. I feel like I feel like I'm left here for a purpose, and that purpose is to serve other people. For me, I'm still learning a lot of things, but being an inspiration is one of the things I feel like that I am, because I can't tell you why I feel the need to continue to move forward despite everything that has tried to slow me down. It is just this drive inside of me that I cannot stop. I don't want to say it's a bad habit, but it's still even a habit at work. Like I don't want to be in that job anymore, but I still continue to move up, just because even sitting there, I can't just be stagnant. So I got remarried. I found the love of my life, and that's one of those things where the stars just aligned, and I knew the night I met him. And I told my best friend as such, and she told me I was nuts, but I won that argument anyway. And so we got married, and when we got married, I was in a size 2 wedding dress. We worked out all the time. We had our shit together, everything. I've said like a couple of dirty words, I'm sorry. And then happiness set in, and then we got real complacent with each other and what we were doing. And before I knew it, I had put weight back on. And so here's the deal. And this is one of the reasons why I ended up reaching out to Christina. Losing weight is easy. Keeping it off is sometimes where we it's losing your habits and whatnot. And I lost my screen. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I actually found Christina through Becky. I ordered again. I had a coach through Beachbody, somebody I had met at work, but she didn't really talk to business. She kind of tried to get me to get started. And there weren't real productive conversations. I really didn't understand how things worked. I got real overwhelmed. I bought a couple of DVDs, and then I kind of walked away. So I did start with another company, with another opportunity, and I soon found out that they were not my tribe. I could not go all in. I could not connect with the people, nor could I connect with the products. And so, I did that for a couple of years, but then I ended up signing away my distributorship with them and kind of calling it quits. And so that is where Christina and Becky come in, because I was waiting for Hammer and Chisel to come out. I had found Becky, I think on YouTube. And I loved her Get Up and Go. She seemed amazing. I was inspired by her story. I watched her relentlessly, kept up with her on Instagram, watched her through Hammer and Chisel, and was amazed at her results. But then I soon figured out that her and Christina were sisters, and so I was watching them both. I really enjoyed Becky's No Nonsense, but I kept coming back to Christina because I liked her laid back sense of everything. But she came with such poise, and I'll say power, but she was just something I wanted to be a part of. But I was skeptical because, and this is when I said earlier, I've been watching them for a long time. Due to the other opportunity, the people weren't who they always said that they were. And so I was literally like, I believe in Beachbody products. I believe in Shakeology. I knew the programs worked, but I was watching Christina because she's going out and partying, and I thought, she's not going to make it. Somehow this just isn't going to work. You just can't have all that fun and, have their abs and do what they do. But then time went on and things stayed the same. And I just watched things continue to grow with them. And so I just messaged Christina. I had enough. I had gained 30 pounds. I wanted it off. I wanted it gone. And when the challenge came up in December, I knew I had to walk in then. I contacted the coach that I had been with and asked her if she was doing the challenge, that I was ready. I needed to go all in. And she just said she really didn't have time to do that kind of stuff. I could, order the products if I wanted to, and she would kind of help me whenever I needed her. And I said, thank you, but no thank you. I really need somebody that's going to be there. So that's when I messaged Christina, and then boom. So here we are. So I probably took longer on that than I should have, but let's get to the diamond part. So I just feel like you guys really needed to know kind of the backstory to all that. But so I came in December. I did the challenge. I did 21 Day Fix Extreme because for some odd reason I feel like I always need to be like balls to the wall. But it was a good program. I'm glad I started there. But I also knew that I needed to, because when I coach, I learn. Somebody told me the saying, those who don't teach, or those who can't do, teach. And I always thought it kind of meant if you just, couldn't do cartwheels, like I can't do cartwheels, then you would just teach gymnastics because you love it, but you can't do it. But that's not true. We teach, we can't do, and then we teach. And so as you teach, you learn. And I knew that coaching was the only way that I was going to have successful results. Did I really think I was going to start this huge business? Not exactly, not at first. But Diesel Nation makes it really, really hard not to want to have that lifestyle. So every call that Christina has, every training that they offer to us, you guys, that is part of my secret sauce, is that I love the fact that they record it, like she's recording this, and if somebody needs to watch it at 4 a.m., like I typically watch them, there it is for you to access and learn. But then I did come to Christina right before she did the Fearless Recruiting and told her I was afraid. I was having people like crazy join my challenge groups. Everybody's getting good results. Almost everybody but 2 people that have been with me from the beginning in December are still with me now. So that's an amazing feeling, and I knew I was coaching right, but I was afraid to reach out because I had done that other opportunity, and I was afraid that they were going to think that I was wish-washy, or that I was just on to the next new thing. So, I told you guys my personal why. of why I'm striving to live a life, you know, to be with my kids and to go on vacation and just enjoy life. But the other why you guys need to connect to is your Beachbody why. When Christina and them kept saying, find your why, find your why. That is what clicked to me in Fearless Recruiting. That was what I was afraid of, was my why. So when I started telling people why I thought that the 21-day fix in Shakeology was the best thing that I could hand to them, why the program was the best programs they could do, why Shakeology was hands down the best shake, when I started really, really telling people why I thought it was awesome, that's when everybody started really connecting with me. And whenever they started watching and asking, and then I was able to lead into the opportunity through starting out talking about discount coaching as well. That was really what clicked. And so for me, that was my magic sauce, was just knowing why, going all in. And we hear it and you think you're all in, but if you're afraid to post stuff of what people are going to think, if you are afraid to say, this opportunity is amazing, I know that it's multi-level marketing. I know that you're selling stuff. I don't sell, I share. But until you completely connect those things, they're going to smell that fear. They're going to know you haven't went all in. And so the other thing that I did too, that I think sometimes as new coaches, we kind of fib to ourselves, was I wasn't doing as much as I thought I was doing. So I was doing all of our basic things. I was working out. I was, drinking my shakes, doing my personal development, but I really wasn't connecting with people. And so when I really sat down and started connecting with people, talking, sharing, and you guys, we don't have cable at the house. I don't listen to the radio in my car. I'm listening to Beachbody podcasts, or I'm listening to personal development books. In the mornings, I get up at 4 a.m. I catch up on anything Christina has provided. And then I get to work. And so, even my challengers know that they can post at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, but I will answer them in the morning. So it's just finding those nuggets of those little snippets of time, and then just really going all in. And when she started Fearless Recruiting, I knew I had to drop it. And so that's kind of my secret sauce. So I was looking at my notes. I've got little Post-it notes stuck over here on my printer. I guess for the most part of it, that's kind of where, if you guys have any questions, or if Christina wants to step in.
I want to step in. I want to step in here. I want to because obviously there's parts of that story that I hadn't heard yet. So number one, I honor your transparency and your willingness to be so forthright in your story. And I'm going to cover why that's so important. And I get goosebumps because Jeff Hill, seriously, Jeff Hill, who's one of my mentors, he's one of the presidents, he always says you have to be courageously forthright in your story. And that's exactly what you did today. And that's why you are seeing success in the business, to get that vulnerable. But you guys, a lot of people confuse vulnerability by just being vulnerable. That is where the value comes. To a certain extent, there is extreme value in being vulnerable and sharing your story, to figuring out the life experiences that you've had and sharing that courageously on your social media, in your conversations, in your biz ops, all that. The key, which Miranda has been so good at, you guys, and hopefully we'll make her post pop up, but I'll never forget, she would send me pictures. Remember, you would tell me, what about this picture? What about this picture? And then we kind of talk, you gotta share why. Why are you sharing that picture? Why are you sharing the picture? Not what you're doing and how you got there, but what's that reason, the why, the why, the why. And she did that recently, and it was like almost a catalyst to all this activity. And I realized that, man, do we take that for granted. The fact that you can, number one, right, because it's not only just sharing your vulnerabilities, but connecting the dots between that vulnerability and that life experience to adding value to people's lives, right? Connecting that vulnerability to what we have to offer, right? Not only in our products, but in the business opportunity. And that's, I mean, I don't know if you guys heard it, but she even did it while she was sharing her story. She shared the immense struggles that she had in her life, personally, her weight, her health, the car accident, even her babies and her daughter's autism story and all of that. But she tied it into a message of remaining patient, of never giving up, of it being her purpose. Like, it was like, that's what causes momentum in people's business, when you can share your story in that way, but then connect it to a message, connect it to your purpose. And I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but it's so important, because the value that you are offering in social media and in your conversations is, how do you relate to people, right? In a real human level. And Miranda got as human as you can possibly get tonight. When all we do is talk about Shakeology, all we do is talk about the fitness programs, you just become like white noise to people, because there's a lot of coaches out there selling the products, but you got to be the coach that shares the story, that shares the struggle, that shares the why. Does that make sense to you guys? Yes? Okay. Then, finding the lesson. I just wrote some notes. How could you add value to others because of what you have experienced in life? I share the autism story, right? A few of us, I know someone, I think Tiffany had commented that her son is autistic too. And yes, it's hard, but guess what? Use that hard to share a message, to add value to the people watching, that, you know what? Yes, it's hard, but we're going to overcome that hard, right? When I share DJ's story, I use it as, if he can fight through his urges, and if he can learn how to speak, and if he can do all these things, and man, you can work out for 30 minutes a day, right? Tie them in, add value to your audience that way, based on what you have experienced in life. Does that make sense? I hope so. Because Miranda, you've honed that skill so well. And exactly, Alan, be the hero of your story. Actually, I'm gonna do something at Summit. I hope you guys go to Ignite. We'll definitely share the video of it, where you're not necessarily the hero, you're the guide to other people based on your story. And it's a really interesting twist on that concept, on how to share on social media. But you guys, one thing I wanted to ask Miranda, because a lot of the comments that we got was how inspirational you are and how amazing your story is. But can I ask you, number one, there's going to be 2 or 3 questions. Number one, a lot of coaches always want to know, like, what do you do during the day, right? Kind of the day in the life of Miranda, who hit Success Club, who's been able to, achieve Diamond and is still pushing for obviously more, because we don't stop at Diamond, we keep going. Like, what does your day look like? Because you do still have a job, you do have kids, you do have a husband. How do you balance this journey, right? This journey of having this business.
I balance it, one, with a lot of caffeine. I just bought me a shirt the other day that says I run on caffeine, chaos, and cuss words. But I literally get up at about 4:30 a.m. And so previously during the school year, that was my quiet time. However, my autistic child, who doesn't really sleep, and she never really has, loves to stay up during the summer. So here lately she's been at me. So I'm losing that little bit of time sometimes. But I do my personal development in the car. So before, I told you I listen to you guys on YouTube while I'm checking my back office. So I've got Christina, I've got Becky. I do listen to other coaches. I mean, everybody's got to offer. But, you know, I want to be as connected with Diesel Nation as I can, you guys. So I try to listen to as much of Christina and Becky as I can. There's a lot of stuff out there. So I check my back office. I follow up if anybody's messaged me overnight, because we're on fast time. A lot of my friends and people on Facebook are on slow time. And so I literally go to bed about 8 or 9 o'clock. I've had extra caffeine tonight, so I'm still alive. And so answer them in the mornings. I get all that done. If I want to add something new to my challenge group, I try to schedule those. I've not been so good with that this challenge, because I've been so concentrated on trying to hit Diamond and staying in Success Club. But then, so I listen to my personal development on my way to work. I'll usually sit in the parking lot and try to talk myself into going into the building. And that's when I'll answer a few more questions. But when I'm at work, when I go to the bathroom, my phone goes with me. When I go down to the mail room, my phone goes with me. I do a lot of unsafe walking and texting. Christina's really good about sending us voice messages, and I love that, you guys. So I've been sending voice messages too. My voice, I don't like too much. That ties into my story too, because in the hospital, I was one day, literally 3 hours away from having a permanent trach. And so they left the ventilator in too long. So I used to have a really high-pitched, squeaky voice that matched the blonde hair and the spunky attitude. Now I sound a little rougher, but it's okay. But where the hell was I in my story then? So my voice messages. People really like to hear you talking to them. We text and we email and we Facebook a lot. So actually hearing somebody's voice really peps me up, I know. So I try to do that too. Although they don't like my southern words sometimes. But then when I get home, my husband is probably sick to death right now seeing the top of my head. This is what he sees a lot. But we do try to have times where I just, I'll let my phone go dead, and I just know whatever is. It's going to be waiting on me in the morning when, I can get up and address it then. So I do try to make time for him, but he also understands what I'm working for. And, he wants to get there too. So we're kind of working things as we go. So, I literally usually am answering stuff until I go to bed, but when I do lay down, because sleep is important, my phone is away from me. And so that's kind of, to get to where I am now, I know people want to say, no, I do talk to 3 people, I compliment 2 people, and I follow up on 5, and that's my day. Absolutely not. I post things on Facebook, but then I take it all back to the messages, where what we're talking about isn't to the broad audience most of the time. I'm one-on-one with as many people as I can be one-on-one with.
Awesome. And let me ask you a question. How did it feel when you went diamond, like accomplishing that goal? How did you feel? And I know it's, I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, but, take us to that moment. And then I'm going to ask the second part of that question is where do you see yourself by year's end? Because I know you said your goal was to be diamond at Summit. You did that. Now, what do you want year's end? Where do you see yourself on December 31st?
I haven't even thought that far ahead. I should, right? So hitting diamond, we actually had a couple things fall through. So I was really, really frustrated, but, I was talking with my new Emerald coach now, and, one thing fell through on Friday night, and I had told Christina I was going to hit it by Saturday, and I was just like, oh. So then when it happened, I just kind of sat on it. I didn't tell Christina. I saw the new coach come through, and I was just like, holy smokes. So I didn't even tell her. I left my phone. I left the whole business and just went out to my pool and said, I can't even deal with this right now. And so when I came back in, Christina had seen it. But I'm excited. I've been excited this whole time, because I'm excited for what's to come for my Emerald coaches and the more Emerald coaches to come, and to get them to diamond. I guess in my brain, that has been my next step, is to get them to diamond. So for sure, 2-star diamond by the end of this year. But I want to continue to hone on these skills. But I was riding home today, and I was listening to the Beachbody podcast, and I forgot that I'm diamond, and I forgot that they announced that crap on the call. So I'm driving in traffic, and then he says my name, and I was like, snap. And I stopped it, and I had to listen to my name again. So like I came home and I made my husband listen to just my name. Like, he's never listened to a podcast, and he's like, what is that? I'm like, just listen for 10 seconds, just listen. So that's how excited I am.
That's awesome. You should be super proud. And what I love is that you're incorporating your husband into the business. Even if it's just for that support and that cheering right now. Number one, he's a coach, but number two, that he understands what you're trying to accomplish with this business, and that you are talking to him about it, right? You're incorporating him, because the last thing you guys want, especially you guys that are new to the business, is for your spouse, your partner, to be resentful of the time it takes you to build this business, right? This is a part-time gig. It shouldn't be like, you shouldn't be like this 24 hours a day. I understand it, because I've been there where at the beginning, even certain times, even now that you become kind of obsessed, right? With wanting more and pushing more. But if your partner, spouse, love, whatever, understands, and you are respectful of boundaries, and you work when you're going to work, and when you're not going to work, you don't work, and you respect that, you guys, it's an awesome ride to do this together. So make sure you're having these conversations now, even if you just started, even if you just joined and you want to push to Emerald, or you want to push to Diamond, and you're already thinking next year's summit. Start having the conversation now about that, because having that kind of support in the home is important. This is just like any other business, right? Even if you were to go and open a clothing store or open a restaurant or whatever, like you need that support. So make sure you're incorporating them into your business now. All right, guys, it is almost 9:50. It's getting late. I told you we were going to make this quick, but you guys, it was such an inspirational call. Miranda, I'm so blessed to be on this journey with you. You keep it fun, man. I will tell you that. And one thing, you guys, I can't stress enough is to keep it fun. I don't ever go a day where Miranda and I aren't talking, or we're in our thread with Vanessa and Adriana where we don't laugh at something she says. It's keep it fun. This is what it's about. Don't get stressed. Get into a state of abundance, of love, of happiness, and that's what you're going to attract into your business, right? If you're stressed, if you're fearful, if you're scared, then guess what? That's the vibe you're gonna set out into the universe, right? So keep it lighthearted. When you're talking to people, keep it lighthearted. That's what people are going to connect to. They're going to relate to. And when they turn around and become coaches on your team, they're going to duplicate what you do, right? So make sure that you guys are doing it right. So anyway, Miranda, thank you. This is you know what? I forgot a huge announcement at the beginning, but before I get to that, thank you, Miranda. I appreciate you. You're a rock star. I can't wait to see what your business does in the next 6 months, and obviously beyond that. You guys, listen to this. After Summit, they announced it on the National Wake Up Call today. A lot of you have not yet heard it. I understand, because you're at work. Make sure you tune in. On Wednesday, the 19th, so after Summit, we're going to have a post-Summit surge. That means we're going to, instead of having a live Super Saturday event, it's going to be like digital. It's going to be on the computer. We're going to have Carl Deichler for the beginning part of it, and then we're going to have a team event. So please, whether you're going to Summit or not, on your calendar, and you guys spread this to your teams, to your coaches, put on your calendar that on Wednesday the 19th in the afternoon, I want to say it's going to start at like 5 Pacific time, which means 8 Eastern Standard Time. The surge is going to start, and it's going to be, what do we do after Summit, right? We come back from Summit and we're so excited, but we don't know what to do, right? We're like, you want to run through a wall, but you don't know where to start. We're going to talk that through. We're going to have guest speakers. We're going to first listen to Carl. Then we're going to come on board together. We're going to have training. We might even have some guest speakers. So mark your calendar so you guys can gain the excitement that we get from being in New Orleans, whether you're there or not, and we can run for the last 2 quarters. The last 2 quarters are super important in our business because not only do we get a ton of new products and all of that's going to happen, we get the expansion into the United Kingdom, which, by the way, Diesel Nation will be planning a training on how to leverage that. I know because it happened to me. I had a minor panic attack last week thinking, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Relax. We're covering it. I took a chill pill. We're going to help you step by step figure out how to leverage the UK launch. It's going to boil down to quality over quantity. We're not going to go crazy, but we are going to get trained on how to appropriately launch in the United Kingdom. Super exciting times. All right, you guys, I'm done. Are you ready to finish the month strong and hit Success Club? Thumbs up. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I know I still got work to do. You guys have work to do. So get out there, you guys. Push your goals. Set the goal and make it happen. I love you guys. Have a great night, and I will see you soon. Thanks, Miranda.
Thank you.